Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Hutchinson City Council meeting for Tuesday, September 12th, 2023. We'll call the meeting to order. Approve the council agenda. Any agenda additions or corrections?
Council, I don't have any additions or corrections for you tonight.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Tim, second by Pat to approve the agenda as presented. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We'll say nay. Motion carries. Invocation. We'll just have a moment of silence. Next is Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Watch out. No, it's okay.
Recognition of gifts, donations, and community service to the city. Does anybody have anything tonight? All right, citizens addressing the council, just please come forward, state your name and address for the. All right, approval of minutes. We have the regular meeting minutes of August 22nd, 2023, and the council workshop of August 22nd, 2023.
Make a motion to approve them.
Second.
Motion by Chad, second by Pat to approve. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We'll say nay. Motion carries. Consent agenda be done with one motion unless somebody pulls something off for discussion. A is approval of issuing massage license to Healing Vine LLC located at 103 Highway 15 South. B is approval of issuing parade permit to the Hutchinson High School Students Council on September 22nd, 2023 for the homecoming parade. C is approval of out-of-state travel for firefighters to visit Pierce Manufacturing in Appleton, Wisconsin. D is approval of the 2023 maintenance overlay on California Street Southwest. E is approval of resolution number 15627, resolution to donate surplus police department property. And F is board appointments and reappointments. Peggy Gadina to the Hutchinson Housing and Redevelopment Authority Board to August of 2025. Dan Mascott to the Hutchinson Housing Redevelopment Authority Board to August of 2026. Andrew Webster to the Public Arts Commission to August of 2024. Janine Sorrell to the Public Arts Commission to August of 2024. Chris Haig to the Public Arts Commission to August of 2026. Justin Beck to the Public Arts Commission of August of 2026. And G is Claims Appropriation and Contract Payments Register A. Anything anybody wants pulled off?
Motion to approve consent agenda 1.
Second.
Motion by Pat, second by Dave to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
With a nay, motion carries. Approval of consent agenda number 2, claims appropriation contract payments register B. Chad, I believe you have a check on that.
You are correct.
Motion to approve consent agenda 2.
Second.
Motion by Pat, second by Dave, with Chad abstaining from the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. skip down to communication request petition, Emerald Ash Board update. John, you're up.
All right, good evening. So, emerald ash borer, the first time it was found was in Michigan in 2002. And since that time, the pest has infested millions of green ash trees in the United States. There's a very high population of green ash trees in Minnesota because many of those were planted following the Dutch elm disease that we experienced in the 70s and 80s. Emerald ash borer is a bug. It's a non-native beetle. It causes widespread and decline and the death of green ash trees. The larvae are what do the damage. They feed on plant tissue and disrupt the transmission of water and nutrients. When the infestation gets too bad, the tree will die. Since emerald ash borer was discovered in St. Paul in 2009, EAB has been steadily spreading to outstate Minnesota. The small green circle here is the most recent discovery of emerald ash borer between Hutchinson and Silver Lake. So in August 18th of this year, 2023, the Department of Agriculture put McLeod County in a quarantine because of that area. So what does that mean? Well, it's the emerald ash borer quarantine really regulates articles related to ash trees like logs, waste, chips, and any non-coniferous firewood. Though any of those articles cannot be transported inside and out of McLeod County. Details about the quarantine are available on the Minnesota Department of Agriculture website. Pretty straightforward. Since EAB was recognized as a potential threat, we've worked to understand the threat and to do everything we can to address it. From what we learned from others who've dealt with emerald ash borer in the past, we found out it's important to provide public education, regular inspections, and to detect EAB as early as possible and create the strategies to deal with them. Mitigating the disruption and the cost of the infestation is the highest priority. So EAB in Minnesota, again, it was found in St. Paul in 2009. 2018, EAB was found in Wright County, which is a bordering county, and that was our first triggering event. And so in the fall of 2018, we actually passed a resolution that declared EAB a nuisance in the city of Hutchinson. So this year in 2023, we had our second triggering event. EAB was confirmed to be between Hutchinson and Silver Lake, so within the county. The next triggering event is when we find emerald ash borer actually within the city of Hutchinson. So what do? Proactively, we maintain a good tree inventory. We keep up with, to the extent possible, with the tree ratings, good, moderate, poor. We identify any triggering events, and then we have initiated the removals of ash trees in poor to moderate health, and most of that being done through our forestry diversification program that started in 2014. We try to address a minimum of 40 ash trees a year, and we reduce ash population as part of street projects, and we particularly focus on areas with high percentage of ash populations. Our reactive measures would be initiating and continuing chemical treatments at selected sites, We would continue the removal of ash trees in poor to moderate health in those areas. We regularly monitor the condition of the infested trees with the eye to remove those trees during the winter months when the bug isn't as easy to spread. And then we would replace the trees as resources permit. And then we would also create a tree care contractor registration. So the detection, considering that the first two triggering events have already occurred, the short-term plan is to have arborists engage in inspection, detection, and monitoring activities right away. Public Works and Parks employees will also be trained to detect these infestations. There's going to be a public educational cooperation with private owners, since in many cases we've learned over the years that in areas with these infestations, it's typically the property owner that discovers it first because they're more tuned into what their trees are doing. So, and we'll continue to cooperate with other government agencies to detect and monitor for EAB. The city ordinance indicates that private property owners are responsible to abate nuisances. Historically, the ordinance has been used to abate tree diseases or trees that are in a state of condition so as that they cause a public nuisance. In 2018, in the fall of 2018, the council passed a resolution declaring EAB a nuisance within the city. With that action, the council has already taken the necessary action to enact the provisions of this ordinance. And those would apply to trees infested with emerald ash borer. In short, the ordinance requires property owners to abate the nuisance upon receipt of a notice. The property owner, if they do not abate the nuisance in a timely manner, the city could cause the nuisance to be abated and charge those costs back to the property owner with unpaid charges being collected along with property taxes. So private property owners, the arborist inspections will take place in June through August, the time of the year when the beetles are the most active. These will be coupled with leaf off surveys and really looking for woodpecker activity. In many cases, a woodpecker can indicate an infestation because they must be pretty tasty. Shiny green, I don't know, maybe they taste like candy, I don't know. But anyway, so if you start seeing woodpeckers attacking a tree, it's, we're going to want to take a look at it. And so.
Ash trees, right?
Right, ash trees. Once a privately owned ash tree is identified as being infested, we'll be sending out an order to remove. Upon learning about that infestation, and then the property owner is going to have a couple choices to remove the tree in the winter months, or the other would be to treat for the tree. So if the tree still has more than 50% canopy during May to August, then we could do, there is an option to do some chemical treatments to save that ash tree. So we'll inform the property owner of that at that time. The scope of the issue. In 2018, we had over 2,100 ash trees, publicly owned ash trees. Since then, our inventory has been reduced to an estimated 1,560 ash trees. We estimate that there are anywhere between 2,500 and 3,500 privately owned ash trees in the community. And so that 4,000 to 5,000 trees represents a significant number of trees in the city, right? We estimate that be somewhere between 11 and 15% of the total canopy. The scope of this project is significant, requiring planning efforts to prolong the negative effects of an infestation, so we want to spread that out over as many years as possible. The current balance in our tree disease and infestation mitigation account is $528,000. Every year there's a contribution of $55,000 from the recycling fund, and removals of publicly owned ash trees are estimated at roughly about $500 a tree. It's important to remember that privately owned ash trees could cost significantly more than that to remove. Ours are pretty easy because we just got to tip them out on the road, right? You work in a private property, they've got buildings and other things to work around. And we anticipate the cost of replacement to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $400 a tree. There are approximately 1,560 publicly owned ashes. So the foresight that having an account like this puts Hutchinson in a healthy and quite honestly an enviable position. Most communities would be thrilled to have funds like this available. So I think it was a good thing to do and to prepare for it. We knew it was going to come. We just didn't know exactly when. Thankfully, it took quite a while to get here. So, and what we do is we anticipate a 15-year time frame, anticipating that 100% mortality of ash trees will happen within 15 years. So our situation is, at this point, assuming everything continues as we've got it set up today, that we would be able to remove all of the ash trees, all the publicly owned ash trees in the city, and to replace 90% of them. So it's a very good place to be. So well, EAB is here. We can expect it to be within the city limits soon if it isn't already. And we've already done a lot of work over the last 15 years to get ready for this. And now that it's here, I think we're in a place where we're very prepared for this. We can remove infested trees before they become dangerous, and we can replace almost all the trees that we remove. We expect that this will affect private property owners more dramatically, and I would encourage them that they should think about treating their trees, or at least be prepared to remove them if there are infestations that come. This is going to be a big deal over the next, probably will ramp up in years 6 through 10 and get, come pretty fast and furious at years 11 through 15. So,
John, when you mentioned that they should be taken to Creekside, are they still usable as mulch, or are they to be destroyed?
Creekside is already gone through the process of being certified Area 4 Emerald Ash Borer. So the activities they do with their product are okay for the state. So they can utilize the trees.
That was some of that foresight that Creekside.
Right. Yes.
EAB certified to handle the wood that.
Yeah.
potentially
Correct.
couldn't, So.
John, you said there's an option for canopy treatment or treatment. Do you have a cost of what it would cost to treat it?
There are some treatments available even now, like at the hardware store and some of the home stores, that are quite reasonable.
are they longer lasting, or is this a
It would
perpetual?
be kind of a perpetual treatment. Maybe not every year, but probably every other is more like it. So there's just a myriad of options that have just, come with the bug over the last 20 years that I think it would be good for property owners to do a little bit of research on it and then figure out, do I value that tree enough to treat it? Or would I be better off being rid of it and replacing it? So,
And the city obviously does have a forester to help
right.
answer some
Yeah,
of those
we'll help with
questions
those
of
questions.
the public as well.
Well, there's extension and there's
Yeah, there's a lot of
different
options.
resources for that. I was just,
Right.
if we're gonna be ahead of this, and you have, you're a homeowner taking down a tree in between two garages and the home isn't the easiest process.
Yeah, it might be easier to dribble a little juice on it every year. Yeah,
That's where John says that it's more expensive, especially when they're in between two buildings.
Exactly. Yeah, I've got a couple of ash trees in my yard that I think that I'd have to figure out what I want to do with. Do I want to treat them now, or those are the questions that we're going to have to wrestle with at home.
Does the Department of Agriculture, anybody have any brochures on that?
Oh yes.
Can we get those into the community?
Yeah, we'll get. We already have some, but we will. That's part of our next step. Now that it's in the county, we're going to start some of those processes. Once it gets into the city, we'll also add to that anybody tree care contractor that wants to work in town. We'll list them, provided they come and hear our spiel about EAB, and then provide us with their insurance information. We'll have a list of those on the forestry website so people can have some options for that. So, but look for little green bugs about 3/8 of an inch long, or a lot of woodpeckers. If you do see that, let us know. We're going to want to get a handle on where these infestations are starting. So.
I think that's the important part, really, where you're looking for that assistance from the public is, we know it's obviously now even closer to our air than previously.
Yeah.
And it's, some of this is that public education, some of it is the public themselves being good neighbors and keeping an eye on it. I think the city is approaching it right now from a position of strength. It's part of the work that we do with our street projects is to replace those. That's why we've got the fund built, like John noted, and hopefully we're not faced with, there's pictures you've maybe seen down in the cities where a whole block has been leveled. We're hoping that won't happen here, and we've done a lot to try to prevent that.
Right.
But this is where, it's close now. We need that public assistance in helping us really keep an eye on it.
We do have a little area up in the northeast that is kind of concerning, so we're going to take a real good look at that soon here. And, I think what we're going to find is that it was drought stress more than infestation. Mm-hmm. But, we're going to definitely keep our eye open for this stuff. So we appreciate all the help we can get, because more often than not, it's been property owners that have found it first. So, thank you guys. Any questions beyond that?
Anything else for John?
So in areas where they have gotten the ash borer, is it 100% death rate, or
Yeah, it will be 100% death rate.
Sure.
The mortality will ramp up slowly though.
Yeah.
It's lower in the first 5 years. It's obviously a little more in the second 5 years, and then the third 5 years, the rest of them go.
Because with Dutch elm, some trees survived Dutch elm, didn't they?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
but that's not the case with.
No, it will get it.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're gonna pick on the smaller and the poorer quality trees. So
If there's no treatment.
Right. Without treatment, they'll chase after either the younger ash trees or those that are not doing as well health-wise. So
John, is it a good deal to start treating them right away when you don't even see them? Is that kind of a prevention or not?
Yeah, that's up to you. If it's a very high value or if it's like right next to your garage or your house, I would seriously consider that starting now because we know it's already here. It's just a matter of when it gets to that tree.
It's not if, it's when.
Yeah, it's not if. The if is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if it's all by itself in the middle of the yard, I might wait on those. So,
All right, anything else for John?
all right. Thank you.
John? We have no unfinished business, we'll move to new business. First reading of the ordinance number 23-842, ordinance amending chapter 95 and 113 of the Hutchinson City Code to reflect cannabis use, vaping, e-cigarettes, and increasing the age for the sale, use, and possession of tobacco from 18 to 21 years of age.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. As you might recall at the last council meeting, we had quite a discussion about the new state law involving cannabis and what, if anything, we should be doing with regard to a response to the legalization of cannabis within the city of Hutchinson. And as a result of that discussion, you had directed staff to develop an ordinance or amend our ordinance to more or less mirror what was going on as far as smoking and tobacco use in public places in the city of Hutchinson. So as a staff, we got together and we amended a couple of our ordinances to reflect the fact that cannabis is legal, but kind of at the same time restricting where it can be used. Specifically adding it to the definition of smoking in our workplace smoking ordinance, and also specifically adding it to being a restricted use in our parks area, at least some of our parks. And while we were doing that, we also thought we would come up to speed on some other components of our tobacco ordinance, which is to update our code to reflect what had been already existing in state law as far as use and possession being 21 years of age, and also to reflect that e-cigarettes and vaping should also fall under the definition of the use of tobacco products in the city of Hutchinson. So I hope you had a chance to take a look at the proposed ordinance. I think it does reflect what the council had directed staff to do at the last meeting. Staff is available to answer any questions that you might have about the changes that were made to the ordinances or what direction the council wants to take going forward.
And I think it's important to know, because I know there were some comments made from us to the council that, I had a conversation with the county administrator this week, and I think there was maybe some misperception from us on their intentions. And I think we had said they're looking at a full-fledged countywide ban at all public places, and it sounded like that's maybe not their intentions. I think that was one of the options that were proposed to the county commissioners. That's something they can look at, but that hasn't been anything that's been drafted or considered yet by the county commissioners. So I'm not sure if that's necessarily accurate.
So when I got the email, or when you sent out the update on Friday, nothing like jumping on a soapbox. I did reach out to the county commissioners just to get their feeling, and I don't know if they've definitely said it. They said they were looking for input from like Hutch and Blanco, being the two big cities, and they couldn't give me when they're actually gonna act on it.
Sure.
And I tried looking on the county website, I couldn't find that either.
Yeah, I don't think they've drafted it.
They have not. It seems like a couple of them would like to, restrict it, in public completely. That's speaking personally with them, so, maybe the rest of us, I don't know how you feel, but I hope theirs isn't stricter than ours, I guess is what that's just my own personal feeling, I hope. And that's what I got from Mark. They kind of seemed like there were a couple of them that were definitely in favor of restricting it countywide in public.
Yeah, and as Matt had said, they're at the very beginning stages of their discussion. They're reacting to the new state law just like we are. Yeah. As I mentioned in the memo that was put in the packet, they do have the ability under the health statute to restrict its use every place in the county. You know, whether that's something that they're ultimately going to do or not, I think they're still trying to figure that out as well.
You know, and I expressed with the county minister my concern of, okay, we don't do it for tobacco right now, we don't do it for alcohol, both of which, you know, there's gonna be cannabis infused alcohol drinks. There's already kind of the hemp lines, it's cannabis is gonna be coming. So right now in Hutchinson, we have certain areas that we restrict tobacco, but now it's, okay, how do you regulate whether that's person is smoking tobacco or cannabis? Yeah, it's one thing if you're walking right by them, but if they're out in the middle of a park and then when you include edibles on top of that, I think it's gonna be a regulation nightmare.
What I brought up with each one that I spoke with, I just think enforcing it's gonna be very tough. And dating myself, but I mean, if you think that it's just gonna be that joint lit up, I'll use a term from back in my day, it's gonna be more the vapes. You're probably not gonna even smell a lot of it. I mean, you'll pick up the odor without a doubt, but you're not gonna be able to easily tell what they are consuming. And if it's an edible, what are you gonna do, is spit that gum out or what, you know, and I'm just giving, that's what I relayed to them was just like, I think the policing of it would be really, really tough. Mm-hmm. The thing I got from some was they, two of them, that they would like to see a uniform code countywide, which I kinda get, but,
I understand, but there's a lot of things that we don't do that's uniform across the cities, so.
I think it'll be hard to enforce. I mean, that's just my gut feeling, I don't know.
Well, maybe give Tom a chance to, Tom, you got any input on this at all?
I think his input is what we propose, he's comfortable with, so, from an ordinance standpoint, so.
Cause well, he's the, you know, they're the ones that have to enforce it, so. That's,
I'll make a motion to approve the first reading.
Second.
motion by Chad, second by Pat to approve the first reading. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Motion carries.
We don't have to. So, yeah, man.
I guess
Mark and
that is-
Mark and I are talking. I don't know if we've adopted the first reading. Is there any desire to wait with the to see what the county does, or do we want to just?
Well, will it matter? I mean, like, it won't hurt anything if we pass ours, and then there's,
If there's a stricter, to
Contradicts
take
it.
precedent,
yeah,
right, Mark?
So,
Yeah.
If there's a
because
stricter.
the work's already done on your end, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. I mean, like I said, they could.
I think they're open to input yet, Matt, too.
Sure.
I mean, the commissioners, if you have a.
Sure. So.
Alrighty. Setting council workshop for September 26, 2023 at 4 p.m. to discuss updates to the city end statement, core values document.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, we talked about this at our last strategic planning session, so this is going to be the first step to just kind of really focus on that document. We'll have some recommended changes to it and give you guys the opportunity to provide any additional feedback on anything so we can actually look at updating that document for the city. So,
I'll make a motion to set that meeting.
Second.
Motion by Chad, second by Tim to set the meeting. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Setting annual city recognition event for November 2nd, 2023 at 5 p.m. at the Hutchinson Event Center.
at 5:30, I need you guys to set this so I can start working on my.
I was just, are we having the same MC?
Wow, you guys. Hey, if one of you want to volunteer to do it,
Pat.
I heard that Pat wants to do it this year.
That's what I heard.
New guy.
I'll make a motion to set that meeting as well.
Second.
Motion by Chad, second by Tim. We'll set the annual recognition event. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
I have to come up with some wrestling
Say
basketball
nay.
jokes for that.
Yeah,
one, so.
yeah. Motion carries. We have a Sustainability Advisory Board minutes of April 17th, 2023. Chief Grifferson, you have anything else for us tonight?
I have nothing unless somebody has questions of me.
All good.
Mr. Stifter.
I'll give a couple quick project updates. A couple of summer projects that have become fall projects, but at least they're underway, and that is our alley projects, both by Taco John's and the fire department. They both got underway. Friday got the traffic control in place, started this week. Minor little street closure, partial street closure by the fire department to make a sewer connection. But those two projects are underway, a couple weeks of work to be done. The project you just approved tonight, the California street project, that's expected to kick off a week from Friday. Will be about a week-long project, and we should see that completed. And then our other maintenance overlay project that was approved earlier this year for both Second Avenue, Dale, and Market Street. We're going to schedule that because of by Park Elementary. We're going to schedule that for MEA. So it'll be paved during those 2 days that school is closed. So that'll actually work out pretty well. It'll be pushing later May, but we should be okay with that as long as we get that wrapped up. And then just next week, real quick heads up for as much residents and yourselves, we have one small repair correction to make on the School Road Bridge that was noted during the final inspection. So they're going to work on that for 2 days next week, either Tuesday, Wednesday, or Wednesday, Thursday. They'll have flaggers in place. The bridge will be open, but it'll be partially restricted. We're going to start it both days after the school buses have gotten the kids to school and things. So it'll be kind of a 9 to 3 project both of those days, and then hopefully wrapped up and done. So I think that's it otherwise.
School Road North?
School Road North is a patch, and William Mueller and Sons, who's doing our alley project, they'll be doing a couple of our patches. That patch will get done, and a couple of other utility repairs we've done throughout the year. Throughout the summer, since the last round of patches, they'll get those done too. And then no sooner than we complete those, probably a few more. So, but yeah, we'll get all of those wrapped up hopefully before winter.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Mike, had several questions about Jefferson and Highway 115.
Yeah.
Is that gonna still proceed for the fall?
Not for the fall, but what will be done is the letting of the project. Andrew, we just talked to him the other day. They do plan here first week of October to have it out for bid. But not, the project not to be done until next year. So we won't see any work done. Again, from a finance standpoint, because of our contribution to the Jefferson Street project, we have that part worked out, so it doesn't affect any of our financing. But all of that work along 115, including at Jefferson for that roundabout, will be next year at this point, if again, bids are favorable.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Mike. Mark, do you have anything else?
Nothing else tonight.
Tim, let's start with you tonight.
Nothing.
All righty. Dave.
Yeah, I actually have less.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
49th Annual Arts and Crafts Festival this weekend in the park. Starts Friday, 10 to 6, and Saturday, 9 to 4.
And
All kinds of food available. The cart-
Taste of Hutchinson.
Yeah, Taste of Hutch. It's, come out. Avoid the bees. Anybody else notice there's a ton of bees?
Yeah.
That's the
Be
only,
mindful of traffic downtown too, because it
Yeah.
gets to be.
it's a mess.
Yeah. Chad.
I didn't have anything extra.
Okay,
The week, I wanna make an interruption if I may,
sure.
just to get ahead. Then we have the gun show out at the fairgrounds the following weekend. There's St. A's,
Fall festival.
Fall festival is that weekend. B&C is, or 3B's is having their Oktoberfest, it's all the same weekend, so
There's much in
I
Hutch.
just wanted you to know that.
And homecoming, right?
And homecoming somewhere in there.
Yeah, someplace in there.
Thank you.
Are you done now?
Yes, sir.
Sounds good. Man,
Only thing I had, and it's everyone some looks forward to is the fall cleanup is Saturday, September 30th. Those are the two we put it out on social media this week, but and I'll make sure I remind everybody at our next council meeting. I just want to get that out. That second opportunity is that it's that last Saturday of the month, the 30th. So that's it.
And just to remind everybody, that is for garbage paying citizens.
It's for garbage paying residents,
Yeah.
not commercial, industrial, or multifamily, so apartments. You know.
Alrighty,
Doors off your refrigerator. Take the doors off the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
doors off, yep, okay.
Magnets, they don't have.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Alright, motion by Pat, second by Chad to adjourn. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. We're adjourned.